Legend of Total War here, and today I want to talk to you guys quickly in regard to drop hacking in Total War Warhammer quick battles. Okay, so over the past few weeks we've done quite a few quick battles. You guys seem to have been enjoying them, and I've been enjoying them, so it's been a good thing. And I've been going in as Legend of Total War, as the name that comes up in the quick battle lobby, and so people generally, some of the time knew that they were going up against me. However, in the past 2 or 3 days, I changed my Steam name. I've been changing it to random shit, just so people didn't know it was me, just to see how different it would be. Well, in the past few weeks, when I was going in as Legend of Total War, not a single person drop hacked. However, in the past 2 days, I've had 3 people drop hack. Now that's about 10% of my battles that I've fought, which I thought is totally fucking unacceptable. And it got me thinking that if this is what happened to me when people don't know that I'm Legend of Total War, what about other people that might be just as good as me? Do they also get drop hacked just as much? So I thought, alright, I'm going to make a video to name and shame these people, because I wrote their names down. Because you don't want to go up against someone that drop hacks against you again. Why would you do that? I mean, you know that the only possible outcome is either draw or defeat. If there's no option for victory, why would you bother? Anyway, so if you're not familiar with what drop hacking is, it's where a person Alt F4s out of the game, or turns off the computer, or cuts off the internet connection, and it forces the game to adjudicate a draw before the timer has run out. So it could happen at any point in the battle. I've seen it happen at the very start, in the first few seconds. I've seen it happen within 5 minutes of the battle, when the battle's clearly turning against them. Drop hack. And it's very easy to tell when someone does it. Now, of course, I'm not referring to people who wait out the clock. I don't actually have a problem with people doing that. I've had people do it to me. It's very hard to pull that off. So, I don't have a problem. I don't really I mean, it's annoying as hell, but I don't really have a problem with people doing that. I'm talking specifically about drop hacking. Just so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about and don't get confused. Okay, so what I want to do is name and shame the 3 people that I went up against. I'm going to put their Steam IDs in the description. They could, of course, just change their Steam IDs so that they essentially go off the name and shame. But generally speaking, I want to do this to discourage people from doing it in the first place, not necessarily as revenge. It's because now there's always a risk, if you drop hack, that you could go on this list of the Hall of Shame. Okay, so first person that drop hacked against me was a player called Myridus. He brought dwarfs, and I brought Bretonia. He was lucky. He started off with a pretty nice high ground, but he didn't make use of it very well. He put artillery sort of in a position where it couldn't do a lot of damage, but I rushed at him right away, obviously because he brought a lot of artillery, and was decisively beating him. It was looking like it was going to be a good victory for me. Now, I did actually record this battle, so you guys will see. The balance of power was just starting to move in my favor, and then it was just abruptly ended as a draw. It was an obvious drop hack. So Myridus is the first person to go on my Hall of Shame. Second person, and also just want to clarify that I don't have a problem with people bringing cheese builds. I don't have a problem with people doing any of that kind of shit. If they're rude or anything like that, that's just people. People are going to do that stuff. That's not going on my Hall of Shame. So don't send me emails with people saying, this person cheesed, he should go in your Hall of Shame. I won't give a shit about that, okay? Because I use cheese as well. I've gone up against cheese, I've used cheese. It's just part of the game. I don't like using it that often, but, I will do it because, like I said, I want to win. But I want to win legitimately, as in, even if it is with cheese. I don't consider cheese an illegitimate win. Anyway, that's beside the point. Just want to clarify this as much as possible so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about and not confused in any way. Okay, so the second player that drop hacked was a player called The Magnus. And he brought Chaos, and I brought Empire. Now, if you've seen any of my videos where I've had this matchup before, I've got an anti-Chaos build as Empire, where I bring 6 Outriders with their guns, and 4 Demigryph Knights with halberds. Because there's very few counters to that as Chaos. The counter to it is actually Hell Cannons. It's very hard to deal with Hell Cannons with that build. Anyway, beside the point. Anyway, this player, the Magnus, he brought Codex Sunnydown. This is the battle that I didn't record or didn't save the replay, but I wrote his name down. See Steve's name down. And yeah, this battle lasted about 30 seconds, and it ended as a draw. It was a definite drop hack. He could see that he didn't stand much of a chance, that I was going to skirmish as much as possible with my Outriders. Now, I have actually lost against Chaos using that build on a map where I had the advantage. So it's not unbeatable. It is very difficult to beat, but it's not unbeatable. And also, I've spoken to players who focus on Chaos, who say they only ever play as Chaos, and I've said, oh, yeah, I'm going to play as Empire. And they said, if you play as Empire, I will drop out of the match. I never play Empire as Chaos because I cannot win most of the time. And that's fair enough. But we're talking about players who got into the battle and then drop hacked because they feel like they couldn't win. Or they feel like they weren't going to win. That's what we're naming and shaming. So in that regard, the Magnus is the second person to go on my Hall of Shame. The third player is for someone from Clan Bear, Doc Holiday 606. Now I'll put all of the Steam names, all three of these Steam names, in the description so you can know exactly how they're spelt. So this is a player that went as Clan Angerund. Now if someone goes as Clan Angerund, I always bring my anti-Angerund army, which is a cheese army. It's 16 squigs, 3 goblin big bosses, and Azag the Slaughterer on a flying mount. Now what happened with this one? This battle lasted a few minutes. And what I was doing, because there was a fair amount of trees in this battle, and the numbers that I was seeing in his army weren't adding up to the numbers that were in the balance of power. And I was scouting the area. I thought, he's got some units hidden, I just want to know where they are. So I went and saw where they were. They were a fair way away from his army. So I sent my, once I had discovered, it was units like Rangers and Longbeards and things like that. And he was obviously trying to ambush me, which I found it. And I sent my squigs in there. Because his army was so far away from it, he couldn't get to them in time, and I routed a fairly significant portion of his army, probably about a quarter of it. And at that moment, the drop hack happened, so it just immediately ended as a draw, despite the fact I had clearly outmaneuvered him, regardless of the fact that I was using cheese, or whatever. Like I said, I've gone up against cheese, I've used cheese. I don't have a problem with it. Anyone who uses cheese is not going on my Hall of Shame. So those are the 3 players that used that drop hacked against me. Now that being said, if you guys go up against someone who drop hacks against you, what I recommend doing now is save the replay and email it to me. So my email address is totalwarlegend@gmail.com. Please don't email me with fan mail stuff, because I don't have time to send it to Facebook. Just send me just put the subject as drop hacker. I'll be able to see who the player IDs are from the replay, and I will add their names to the Hall of Shame so that everyone can see who is essentially a drop hacker. Now, this isn't a 3 strikes you're out system. This is a 1 strike you're out system. So if a person even drop hacks once, I want to know about it, and I'll put them on that Hall of Shame. Now, what I'm going to do with the people that are on the Hall of Shame, I will now refuse to battle with these people. So if I see their name show up in the quick battle lobby, I will just simply drop out straight away, because what's the point of fighting someone if you know there's a possibility that they'll just rage quit and deny you a victory? If your only options are defeat or draw, why bother fighting them? And I recommend that you guys do the same. If you see these names that go up in your Steam, if you go up in the quick battle lobby, just drop out of it. Wait for another opponent. Most players will not drop hack. Wait for someone who'll play fairly. And, even if someone is going to cheese, I consider cheese to be fair play. We can't do anything about cheese. I'm going to go visit Creative Assembly in a few weeks. I will talk to them in regard to cheese and I'll give them some suggestions on how they could perhaps reduce the chance of players, squig spamming or whatever. I'll give them some information. So hopefully a patch will come out probably in about a year or two, which might reduce cheese. Anyway, I'll leave that with you guys. Remember that if you go up against someone that drop hacks, email me the replay. Don't give me a long-winded story. I'll just watch the replay, and they'll go on my Hall of Shame. So I'm not sure what the responses are going to be from this video. My goal for this one is to discourage people from drop hacking. Now, again, this is only in regard to drop hacks. Don't send me emails with people who have cheesed, with people who are being rude, with people who have simply run out the timer. I don't care about any of that, okay? That's your responsibility as a player to deal with that. I'm only caring about people who are legitimately cheating, who are Alt F4ing or turning off the computer or anything like that in order to deny a legitimate victory from their opponent. That's the only thing this Hall of Shame is going to include. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the quick battle videos. Hopefully you guys are enjoying whatever quick battles you guys are doing, and hopefully we can help make this community better by shaming the drop hackers. Anyway, that's all I've got to say, and I'll see you next time, fuckers.